The next morning, when Mira woke up, a pair of flexusri helped her to stand and move to a shower stall. Mira was still a little unsteady, so they were there to ensure she didn't hurt herself. She noticed a few new scars, but they looked years old instead of days old, a testament to advanced alien medicine. The IV had been removed sometime while she slept, and even the bruising that had been nearly black when she woke was in the last stages of green. They guided her back to the bed after helping her dress in clean clothes, and a familiar face came in shortly after carrying in breakfast.
Good morning, Povin. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you awake, too. You had us all very worried.
He set the plate down on a tray similar to one you would see in any hospital back on Earth.
Thank you. I can imagine. That's never happened before. At least to me. I know that historically it's possible. I just never thought I was a berserker.
They had a brief conversation about what a berserker was, similar to what she had with Garda the night before. A few hours after she finished lunch, Vaby and Fennis came into the med bay to talk to her. Mira was in her own enclosed room so that she wouldn't have to wear her atmosphere belt while she recovered. They settled into seats near the bed, and Vaby set up a small camera so that Rayleigh would be able to get caught up once she woke up. They spoke briefly of what happened to her and why she thought that could have happened. Vaby brought up Mira's records with them and saw that Garda had put in a message to a Quix medical staff member on another ship.
It looks like Garda is seeking answers from the Quix. Hopefully, they can offer some help in that regard. We do want to let you know that the air guns you made were a great help. As a result, no Asili were greatly harmed. They will, of course, be looking into kinetic weapons for themselves in the future. Such a thing will help them greatly on their homeworld as well. I imagine that will be something they will individually be looking to receive in trade from your Earth governments.
I'm glad to hear that.
Mira replied.
Yes, we were even able to take many prisoners.
Fennis grinned.
How do you handle prisoners?
Mira asked.
It varies. We will see what information we can collect from them. We are usually unable to get a whole lot of information due to not being able to force them to speak.
Vaby replied.
If we are unable to get information before returning to the Federation capital, they will be turned over to the holding facility. Sometimes we do prisoner exchanges, but it seems they have little care for who we capture.
So you aren't allowed to force them to speak to you?
Mira asked.
I don't understand. They either chose to speak or they do not.
Fennis replied.
Okay, that's going to be another talk between the four of us, and it will probably get real uncomfortable for all of us.
Mira sighed.
Let's talk about what we were going to talk about before we were so rudely interrupted.
All right, and then I want to return to this prisoner talk.
Vaby replied. Mira nodded in agreement.
All right. So, my understanding is that at one time or another, each of your species has visited Earth, yet Black Hole had no records of humans or Earth. And the Federation Council seemed to find information about humans to be new. Why is that?
Vaby raised a tentacle.
I can answer that. You may have noticed that our species classing system may feel odd to you. We have Drala, who come from a lighter gravity planet, and Achille, who come from a heavier gravity planet on the same ship, and both are classified as Black Class.
Mira nodded in agreement.
Our classification is not based on how pleasant a planet's atmosphere or weather is to all other species. Instead, it is based on how many can step foot on that planet without some aspect of the planet causing or nearly causing death. When most species step foot on any of our planets, it's usually the plant life that can cause such reactions from our counterparts that it is just too dangerous for them to come to us. However, any of us, including you, could step foot on any of the other homeworlds without issues. You can eat nearly any of our foods without issue, and the same for us for your foods. They could not do this. Even cooked, our foods could kill them. As you can see by my Sash and Fennis's uniform, we have a black circle around the Federation logo to let other members of the Federation know whether or not they can eat with us or visit our planets. I believe Black Hole has a blue circle around their Federation logo. Blue is the most plentiful. We can talk about the other colors later. As for why we knew about your planet but a Blue-class ship did not, it is more due to not having our information integrated enough. Each color designation shares networks, and we have felt that getting what we feel is necessary. Information about other colors is too filled with inconveniences. Don't misunderstand. It is absolutely possible to get such information, but it is by ship instead of a blanket request. Some take the time to make the requests, and some don't. Some ships don't have the necessary means to hold all of the information, so they carry only the information they need. Any Black-class ship would know all about your planet, but a ship from a different color designation may or may not. Many have no need to know about Black-class planets, so they don't request the information.
That seems really dumb.
Mira replied. Fennis chuckled.
I agree. We had to take on a lot of extra memory storage because we refused to not know anything. To be fair, if we were a class or two smaller in ship size, we would have only taken on the information for the most prevalent color classes. A council member would also be dependent on how large of a memory storage device they possessed, and they don't have the luxury of carrying it around with them on such a large vessel.
Wait, my portable was connected to...
The ship's databases.
Vaby interrupted.
You were only connected with what the ship your portable was connected to.
I just assumed you had a galactic internet.
Mira replied.
No. It would be nearly impossible to maintain such a large connection for information like that. We have message relay stations, which is how we are able to contact other ships or people, and then you have a ship-wide internet.
Fennis explained.
How was Zanatla able to make changes to the ship? She was able to make a program to duplicate sounds that were played on this ship while hers was so far away.
During communication, you are able to share files back and forth. She was able to use that connection to access our networks, which she was given permission to do so.
Vaby explained.
Oh, like a hacker.
This word wasn't translated properly yet, so Mira had to explain what that meant. After having the explanation, they agreed that it was like a hacker.
Okay, let's start with your people, Admiral Vaby. On Earth, they are called octopuses. Plural is sometimes called octopi or octopuses. Both are considered correct, however, I've always preferred octopi. They are intelligent, but they are not considered sapient.
Devolution was always a possibility.
Vaby replied.
I don't even know how to say this, so I'm going to say it plainly and badly. For many people, they are also considered food.
Vaby patted her knee.
It's okay. When they were left there, we expected that some may be eaten by predators. After devolving, they would no longer be considered fluxusory. My people are not going to take offense to this. However, these are children of the condemned many hundreds of generations removed, so I would like an opportunity to visit with one to see if you simply can't understand their language. We'll cross that reef when we get to it. Don't worry that I or my people will take offense. They were abandoned to whatever fate would do to them for their crimes.
There's more, Admiral. Humans are very imaginative in our fantasy writings. Your people may get propositioned for relationships.
Vaby blinked rapidly a few times.
That's never happened before. My people are considered quite ugly by galactic standards. I don't know how to even take that.
Fennis covered his mouth to attempt to stifle laughter.
I don't even think my people are even remotely compatible with yours.
Mira was red-faced from this conversation.
Yeah. I don't think that is going to matter to some people. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. Humans are a bit different.
She looked over to Fennis.
Don't think you're going to be safe either.
She looked to the camera.
You either.
Mira sighed.
I think that's the most awkward of the talks. Let's move on to your people, Lieutenant Commander Fennis.
She brought up a few images on her portable to show him.
Your people look a lot like what we would call gargoyles. At one point, they were added to buildings because it was thought that they would protect the people inside the building from evil. Though, when I saw your people flying, you look like something else.
She moved to a picture of a dragon in flight.
These are what we call dragons, kind of similar to your name of Drala. I can see how, if I had seen one of your people in flight where I had nothing to compare size to, I might think you could be so large up close. I just don't know how your people would have been able to fly on my planet. Our gravity is too high for you.
We could have glided. So long as we weren't trying to use any speed, the atmospheric belts we use, which were closer to harnesses back when we first explored your planet, would have been able to keep up with our movements if we only glided. Any faster than that, and you are correct, we would be affected by your gravity and likely crushed.
I suppose that makes sense. I'll have to trust you on that one considering my people don't have wings. Mainly, I didn't want you to get offended by someone calling you a gargoyle or dragon or being surprised by the comparison.
I think my people will be all right. And I'll be sure to remind them to mind their tempers in case they want to fight a human for some reason.
Mira turned to the camera.
That leaves the silly. Many years ago, a blurry photograph of one of your people was publicized. The name that was given to this new and strange creature was Bigfoot. Honestly, I have no idea why that was the name they came up with. At any rate, my people believed these big feet could be a lost ancestor of ours, from our past mutations to become humans, a branch that didn't die out. There are people that hunt for your people. Their intention would be to kill so that they could then bring a Bigfoot in to prove their existence. I know, it's dumb. Some would want to trap, and others would just want to take pictures and observe as if you were a new animal. I'm sorry, I'm not intending to offend. It's how we react to discovering something new on our planet when we thought we had already discovered everything. Some react with fear, and others react with curiosity. Unfortunately, that curiosity can take really different forms, and I didn't want you to be blindsided by it either. However, I do think that the reaction to the flexusory will be the one worth worrying about the most. To know that we were a prison planet for your people may not be viewed in a good light. Honestly, we kind of did the same thing to one of our continents. It happened long enough ago that those people aren't viewed badly, but the ones who put them there are sometimes reminded of what they did. I just can't say how humans will react to knowing, so it's really your choice on if you want to admit that or not. Maybe pretend to be surprised, ask to meet an octopus and then make your decision then. It can always be strange and wondrous to you, and you have no idea how this happened.
Mira shrugged.
That seems sound advice.
Hey everyone, hope you loved the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe for more awesome sci-fi content, and now you can also show your support by hitting the thanks button at the bottom of the video. Your generosity goes a long way. Additionally, if you're feeling extra generous, check out our Ko-Fi page to support the channel. Every bit helps us bring you more stories from the stars. Thanks a bunch.